All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about a man who's often called the architect of modern China, a true visionary who looked at a nation in crisis and dared to imagine something entirely new. This is the story of Sun Yat-sen and his incredible vision for a revolution. And this quote, it really gets to the very heart of his philosophy. Think about it. It's such a powerful call to action. At the time, this was a radical idea. The idea that China's future shouldn't be decided by foreign powers or a failing dynasty, but by its own people. That one thought was about to change absolutely everything. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to set the stage and look at the crisis that really got this whole mission started. Then we'll get into his unique background, break down his core philosophy, which is fascinating, and watch the birth of a new republic. And finally, we'll try to get our heads around his really complex legacy today.
To really understand a revolutionary, you have to first understand the world they were trying to change. And for Sun Yat-sen, that world was late 19th and early 20th century China, which was facing, well, a profound crisis under the Qing Dynasty.
You know, just look at this list. It paints a pretty grim picture of a system that's just collapsing from all sides. Internally, you've got corruption running rampant, the economy is at a standstill, and that's sparking all kinds of social unrest. But at the exact same time, externally, foreign powers are literally carving up the nation for themselves. The Qing government just seemed totally unable, or maybe even unwilling, to do what was needed to survive.
So into all this chaos steps a man with let's call it a radical diagnosis, and an even more radical cure. Let's meet the visionary himself, Sun Yat-sen.
And this is such a crucial point. Sun Yat-sen wasn't your typical revolutionary. He wasn't a general or some government official. He was a doctor, trained in Western medicine. So he looked at China the way a physician would look at a patient. He saw all the symptoms, the corruption, the weakness, and he came to a stark conclusion. The entire political body was terminally ill. And in his view, the only prescription was a total and complete revolution.
But you can't build a new country on anger alone. A revolution needs a plan. And Sun Yat-sen? Well, he provided one. This brings us right to the intellectual heart of his movement, his blueprint for a brand new China. This was it. This was the foundation of his entire political philosophy, the three principles of the people, or San Min Chui. These three core ideas were going to become the ideological bedrock for everyone who followed him, and for the future he was trying to build.
He broke his massive vision down into three clear, really powerful ideas: nationalism, democracy, and what he called the people's livelihood. So, what did each of these actually mean for China? Let's take a look. Okay, first up, nationalism. Now, this was revolutionary because it wasn't just about waving a flag. For Sun, it meant two huge things: ending centuries of Manchu rule under the Qing Dynasty, and, maybe even more importantly, throwing off the control of foreign powers. The goal was to unite all of China's different peoples into one single, strong nation, like a single house for the whole family.
Second, democracy. So, once the nation was united, Sun believed its people should be the ones to make the rules. He imagined a constitutional republic, a lot like what he saw in the West, where the real political power belonged to the citizens, not to an emperor, and definitely not to a bunch of powerful warlords. And finally, the people's livelihood. This was Sun's direct answer to the incredible poverty and inequality that was causing so much of the unrest. You could think of it as a kind of socialism, focused on things like land reform and regulating big business, all to make sure that everyone inside this new national house was cared for and had a real chance to thrive. So we have the idea, right? We have the blueprint. But turning that vision into a real, functioning country? Oh, that was going to be a violent, chaotic, and unbelievably difficult struggle. And this timeline just shows you how fast everything happened. I mean, it's dizzying. The revolution explodes in October 1911. By New Year's Day 1912, Sun is already president. Just a month after that, more than 2,000 years of imperial rule in China is just over. But creating the republic was really just the beginning. The country fractured almost immediately and fell into a long, brutal period of civil war. Sun Yat-sen himself would actually never live to see a unified China. He passed away in 1925. But his legacy, and his title as Father of the Nation, endures in a really unique and complicated way.
What is absolutely fascinating is that Sun Yat-sen is one of the only modern figures who is respected and honored by both the Communist Party in Beijing and the Nationalist Party in Taipei. How is that even possible? Well, for the People's Republic of China, he's the great revolutionary who smashed the old imperial system. But for the Republic of China and Taiwan, he's the literal founding father whose three principles are the foundation of their constitution. He somehow manages to represent both national unity and democracy, which makes him a powerful symbol that both sides can claim as their own.
So all of this leaves us with a really big question. Is Sun Yat-sen's vision for a unified, democratic, and prosperous China actually complete? It's a question that still echoes in the halls of power in both Beijing and Taipei today. And it's a powerful reminder of a revolutionary dream that continues to shape the destiny of over 1 billion people.